always thought my life was perfect. Naomi, you're glowing, Claire said, sipping her coffee across the table. Her smile was bright, and for a moment I almost believed it. I guess, I said, forcing a grin. Work's just a lot this week. You're too modest, she teased. You've got that promotion in the bag. Liam must be thrilled. I felt a flutter in my chest. Liam, my fiancé. Charming, attentive, the kind of man everyone envied. Yeah, he's proud, I murmured, but there was a hollow ring in my voice I didn't notice. You're distracted, Claire said, narrowing her eyes. Something's off. Spill it. I laughed nervously. Nothing. Really. Her frown didn't soften. Naomi, we've known each other since we were 8. You don't hide from me. I wanted to tell her everything, about the emails I'd accidentally seen at work. The way Liam's smile had felt a little too rehearsed lately, but I swallowed it down. I'm fine, Claire. Just tired, that's all. She didn't look convinced. All right, fine. But you're telling me if something happens, right? I nodded, forcing a smile. Promise. Later at home, I tried to shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Liam appeared at the door, his jacket slung casually over his shoulder. Hey, beautiful, he said, and my heart jumped like it always did. Hey, I replied, brushing past him into the kitchen. I missed you today, he said, resting a hand on my waist. Long day. Yeah, busy, I admitted. Lots of meetings. He grinned. Well, I have a surprise for you. Oh. My pulse quickened. He handed me a small box. Open it. Inside was a necklace. Simple, elegant. I smiled, but my thoughts drifted to Claire's words. Was I reading too much into everything? Naomi, you okay? You look distant. I'm fine, I said, slipping the necklace around my neck. It's beautiful. Thank you. He kissed my forehead and I felt warmth but also unease. Something under the surface was stirring. A whisper I couldn't ignore. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying small moments from the past week. Claire's subtle frown. Liam's slightly too perfect gestures. Even the way my coworkers had avoided my gaze in the hallway. Was I imagining it all? Or was there a fracture in the perfect life I thought I had? I stared at the ceiling and whispered to myself, something's wrong. I just don't know what yet. Tomorrow I promised myself I'd figure it out. Or at least try. I never expected the message to be real. My phone buzzed and my heart skipped. I opened it and froze. Naomi, we need to talk. Now. It was Claire. What is it? I typed, my fingers trembling. Meet me at the cafe. Please. I arrived, my hands shaking, and saw her already seated, staring at her cup. Claire, what's going on? She looked up, eyes wide, guilty. It's Liam. Naomi, he's been lying to you. What do you mean? My voice was sharp, almost breaking. She hesitated. He's been using you. For money, for connections. I didn't want to believe it either, but... I laughed, but it was bitter. Using me? Are you serious? Claire nodded, her hand clutching the cup so tight her knuckles whitened. I swear, I didn't know how to tell you. I felt my chest tighten. And you didn't think to tell me now? After all this time. I thought maybe it wasn't true, she whispered. I stood abruptly, the chair scraping the floor. Not true. I trusted him. I trusted you. Both of you. I know. I'm sorry, Naomi. Claire's voice cracked. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I shook my head, disbelief burning in my veins. How could I have been so blind? She reached out, but I pulled back. Don't touch me. I didn't want to hurt you, she said, almost pleading. Hurt. Humiliation. Anger. All at once. My vision blurred. Did you ever think about how this would feel? Seeing him smile, holding my hand, while he was using me. I didn't know, she cried. I promise. I swallowed hard, trying to control myself. Then why does it feel like you're lying to me now? Claire looked away, silent. I could see the truth in her eyes, the fragments of betrayal I hadn't wanted to believe. I bolted from the cafe before she could say another word. My mind was a storm. Liam, my Liam, he had been orchestrating everything. Every sweet word, every surprise, every promise. All for what? Advantage, money, status? I called him immediately. Liam. Answer me. Naomi. His voice was smooth, familiar, but there was an edge I hadn't heard before. I know, I said, trembling. I know everything. Know what? His tone was casual, too casual. Don't pretend. The emails, the meetings, the lies. It was all for you to benefit. Was I just a game to you? There was a pause, then a sigh. Naomi, it's complicated. You'll understand someday. Complicated. I laughed bitterly, tears stinging my eyes. Complicated? You played with my heart. With my life. I didn't mean. You didn't mean? I shouted. You used me. You lied to me. And Claire, my best friend, knew more than she let on. I didn't know everything. You lied to me, Liam. Every day, every moment. I trusted you. I believed in us. Naomi, please. I hung up. The line went dead, but the echo of betrayal screamed in my head. Sitting on my bedroom floor, my hands shaking, I whispered to myself, I trusted them. I trusted them both, never again. And in that moment, a seed of resolve sprouted among the heartbreak. I would not be broken. Not entirely. I didn't answer my phone all morning. It rang twice, then stopped. I didn't care. Naomi? You okay? Mark's voice startled me over the video call. I'm fine, I said, looking down at my hands. You don't sound fine. I said I'm fine. My voice was flat. Flat doesn't mean fine. He paused. Look, if you want, we can talk. Or not. I'm here. I wanted to hang up, but something in his tone stopped me. Why do you even care? I asked quietly. Because people like you don't deserve this, the way things turned out. I laughed bitterly. People like me? Really? Yes. You. Naive, trusting, good-hearted, but strong too. You just don't see it yet. I swallowed. Maybe I'm just stupid. Not stupid, he insisted. Human. You trusted the wrong people. That's all. I nodded, even though he couldn't see it. I feel lost. I can't stop replaying it all. Liam. And Claire. I thought she was my friend. She knew something. I stopped. My throat tightened. I can't even speak it aloud without feeling sick. I get it, Mark said softly. But you can survive this. You're allowed to feel broken. Just don't stay broken. I don't even know who I am anymore, I admitted. I don't know who to trust. You trust yourself, he said simply. That's the only place to start. Later at the office, Sophie appeared beside my desk. You look terrible, she said, smirking. Thanks for noticing, I muttered, not looking up. You're a mess. Liam's stunt, huh? Pathetic. I blinked at her. You know about it? She shrugged. Office gossip. Can't hide anything here. Anyway, pity party over. You're still working, right? I nodded, unsure if I wanted to punch her or cry. You need to focus. Stop moping, she added, leaning closer. Life doesn't wait for anyone. Her words were sharp, but beneath them I sensed challenge. Maybe she was right. At my desk, alone, I stared at the computer screen and felt the emptiness settle in my chest. Everything felt meaningless. But a tiny spark flickered. Maybe survival meant more than just existing. Maybe it meant standing, even when every part of me wanted to sink. Mark's voice echoed in my head. You trust yourself. I whispered. Okay, I'll try. Sophie's eyes seemed to follow me all day. A reminder that the world doesn't pause for heartbreak. Maybe ambition, anger, or stubbornness could push me forward. Maybe I didn't need everyone to care. Maybe I just needed to care about me. By evening, I realized I hadn't cried all day. Not out loud, anyway. I took a deep breath, feeling fragile but awake. For the first time in weeks, I thought maybe I can survive this. Maybe I can even rise again. I watched from across the room as Liam laughed with his coworkers, the same charming smile he always wore. I clenched my fists under the table. So that's him, I whispered to myself. Who? Alex's voice startled me. I didn't see you there, I said, turning. You shouldn't hide your thoughts, he said, tilting his head. Especially when they're this intense. I hesitated. I just can't believe how he fooled me. Everything we had, it was all fake. Alex nodded. You're angry. Good. Anger is energy. The question is, what will you do with it? I want to. I stopped, unsure if I should confess. I want to expose him. Expose him. Alex raised an eyebrow. For revenge or for justice? Both, I admitted. He used me. And Claire, she's complicit. I trusted them both. You have to decide if you confront them directly or let consequences come naturally, Alex said. Either way, you must remain in control. Not them. I don't know if I can wait, I whispered. Every time I see him, I feel this burning. Then use it, he said. Quietly. Strategically. Start observing. Take notes. Gather evidence. Don't let emotion cloud your judgment. I nodded slowly. Okay, I can do that. But how do I even start? Start small, he said. Watch. Listen. Know their patterns. Then act when the moment is right. Later that evening, I met Claire by chance at a cafe. She looked nervous, maybe even guilty. Naomi, she said, avoiding my eyes. I'm listening, I said. Say what you have to say. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she said. Liam. He's worse than I realized. I tried to stop it, but I couldn't. I stared at her. Couldn't? Or wouldn't? You let him manipulate me. You let him use me while you stayed silent. I know, she said, voice trembling. I feel awful. But you have to trust me. Trust you. I laughed bitterly. After everything? No, not yet. You'll have to earn that back, Claire. I'll do anything, she said. Anything. Good, I said, leaning back. Then start by telling me everything. Every detail you know. No omissions. No excuses. She nodded quickly, pulling out her phone. Okay, here's what I have. As she spoke, I realized the path forward was clear. Knowledge was power. I could gather evidence, expose them, and reclaim control. I could choose revenge or justice, or maybe both. Later, I confided in Alex. She told me everything. It's worse than I thought. But I feel ready. Ready to take action. Alex smiled faintly. That's the spark I was waiting for. Remember, Naomi. Control the situation or it will control you. Use what you know wisely. I will, I said, feeling a surge of resolve. I won't be their victim anymore. I'll make them regret underestimating me. He nodded. Good. And remember, watch their reactions, their lies, their mistakes. Karma can be subtle, but it's powerful. You don't have to rush. I know, I said, gripping the edge of the table. But I won't wait too long. Not this time. For the first time in weeks, I felt something I hadn't felt since Liam's betrayal. Purpose. And with it came a dangerous excitement. I whispered to myself, this is just the beginning. Hannah, can I ask you something? I said, approaching her desk. Of course, Naomi. What's up? Her smile was warm, genuine. I need your opinion on this project. I want it perfect. You've always been good at this, she said. But if you want me to review, I can. I handed her the documents. Thanks. I want to prove to myself I can handle things alone. No mistakes this time. You've got this, she said. I've seen you work miracles under pressure. I felt a small spark of pride. I need that confidence right now. Why now? She asked softly. I hesitated. Let's just say, I'm reclaiming my life. Later, Mark stopped by my office. I see a change, he said, leaning casually against the doorframe. You notice? I asked, a little smug. Definitely. You're sharper, more assertive. I had to be, I admitted. After everything. Good, he said. Nothing can shake you if you stay focused. I smiled faintly. I hope so. In the cafeteria, I caught sight of Sophie again. Naomi, improving your skills? She asked, smirking. Yes, I replied, sitting across from her. I realized moping doesn't get results. Action does. Interesting, she said. You've changed. Maybe, I said, letting my confidence show. But change isn't always visible at first. She raised an eyebrow. Visible enough for me to notice. Careful, people are watching. I leaned back, letting a quiet satisfaction settle. I'm aware. And I like it. At my desk, I reflected. Weeks ago, I felt lost, broken. Now I felt control, small, measured, but mine. Even Claire's subtle glances at the office hinted that she knew I was no longer naive. Hannah, do you think I'm overreacting? I asked later, fidgeting with my pen. To what? To taking charge of everything. To being relentless. Hannah tilted her head. You're not overreacting. You're learning your power. You're reclaiming yourself. That's not reckless, it's necessary. I exhaled slowly. Necessary. I like that word. By evening, I noticed Liam's presence in the office emails and Claire's careful tone when passing by. The air shifted subtly. They were realizing I wasn't the same person anymore. I whispered to myself, they're starting to feel it. They don't know how strong I've become. At home, I opened a notebook, jotting ideas, strategies, and small victories. Each line reminded me that I was no longer just surviving. I was building a future where I held the reins. Mark called later. You sound different. I am, I admitted. I'm not letting them control my life anymore. Not for a second. Good. Keep going. Every small step counts. I will, I said, feeling determination swell. I won't let betrayal define me. I'll define myself. As I closed my notebook, I realized I wasn't fragile anymore. I wasn't lost. I was awake, aware, and ready to face the consequences waiting for those who thought they could break me. I noticed it first during a meeting. Liam's confident smile faltered when his manager questioned a report. You missed the quarterly figures by 10%, his boss said sharply. I don't understand, Liam stammered. I double-checked everything. I bit my lip, hiding the small thrill rising in me. Karma finally. Later, Claire appeared at my office doorway, feigning casualness. Naomi, can we talk? I looked up calm. Of course. Come in. She sat, fidgeting with her phone. I feel like things are falling apart. Liam's acting weird at work. Everyone's noticing. Is that so? I asked, leaning back. And how does that make you feel? I don't know. Stressed, I guess, she admitted. I didn't think this would happen. I thought we could. Control everything? I interrupted softly. Funny how control slips away. She flinched. Naomi, please. I didn't mean for any of this. You never do, I said, smiling faintly. But your choices have consequences, Claire. Every action leaves a mark. Her eyes widened. I know. I'm trying to fix it. Can you? I asked quietly. Can you fix the chaos you helped create? She shook her head. I don't know. I didn't expect this to spiral. You didn't think about me either, I murmured. About the person you hurt the most. I know, she exclaimed. I feel awful, Naomi. Really, I do. I stayed silent for a moment, letting her guilt settle. Inside, I felt a mix of satisfaction and unease. Seeing her unravel gave me a strange pleasure, but a part of me missed what we had once shared. At lunch, I overheard Liam arguing with a coworker. No, I didn't mislead anyone. That's not true. Your lies are catching up, the coworker snapped. We're all tired of cleaning your messes. I walked past, pretending to grab coffee. My chest tightened in excitement. Each crack, each tremor in their composed facades, fed a quiet, dangerous joy in me. That evening I called Alex. It's happening. I can see it, their cracks, their panic. But I feel conflicted. Alex's voice was steady. Conflicted is natural. You're human. But let the consequences unfold naturally. You don't have to force the outcome. I know, I said. But part of me wants to step in, speed things up. Make them feel the weight of everything they've done. Don't, he warned. Patience is more powerful than action right now. Let them stumble on their own. Your role is to watch, learn, and maintain control. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. You're right. I'll wait. But watching is almost as satisfying. The next day, I sat in the corner of a meeting observing. Claire's hand shook as she typed emails. Liam's voice wavered as he presented numbers. Their eyes met mine briefly, and I could swear they sensed the shift, that I was no longer a naive victim. I whispered under my breath. This is the start. The cracks have begun, and there's no stopping them now. For the first time since their betrayal, I felt power, not loud, not aggressive, just mine. Watching them falter without lifting a finger gave me a dangerous, intoxicating clarity. I leaned back in my chair and smiled quietly. Let them crumble. I'll be ready when they do. I hadn't expected to meet someone like Daniel. He slid into the seat across from me at lunch, a stack of files in his hands. Mind if I join you? He asked casually. I raised an eyebrow. Depends. Who are you? Daniel. New here, he said, giving me a small smile. But I know a lot about certain people. Like Claire. I stiffened. Oh? And why would I trust you? Because I've seen her true colors, he said quietly. And I think you deserve to know. For your own sake. I leaned back. Go on. Daniel glanced around before speaking. Claire has been manipulating more than just Liam. She's careful, yes, but careless sometimes. She underestimates people who pay attention. I felt a flicker of excitement. And you've been paying attention? He nodded. Always. I can show you evidence, patterns. Everything you need to understand her moves. I hesitated, the old caution rising. And what do you get out of this? Nothing, he said firmly. I'm just tired of people being hurt while she climbs over them. I studied him, weighing honesty in his eyes. Finally I nodded. All right. Show me. Later that day I met Lara at a cafe. Naomi, she said, sliding into the seat beside me. I hear things are shifting at work. I suppose, I said. People are starting to notice cracks. Lara leaned in. Good. You need allies, people who think strategically. Not everyone can be trusted, but I can help you navigate this. Help me? I asked, suspicious but intrigued. Yes, she said. I don't want revenge for the sake of revenge. I want to see you reclaim your power, your identity. Punishing them is just part of it. I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks, a spark of hope. I thought revenge would make me feel better, but maybe it's more about being myself again. Exactly, she said. Control, strategy, awareness. That's how you win without losing yourself. I nodded, letting the words sink in. So what's first? Observation, she said. Document everything. Watch their reactions, their slips. You'll know the right moment to act. And with Daniel's information, you'll have a full picture. I'll need to be careful, I said, thinking about Liam, Claire, and the fragile line between justice and obsession. You will, Lara said. But you're stronger than you think. You've already survived betrayal. Now it's time to survive strategically. I sipped my coffee, considering the possibilities. Allies like Daniel and Lara weren't just support. They were tools, guides, mirrors reflecting a stronger version of myself. You know, I said, looking between them in my mind. I used to think revenge was just about making them suffer. But now I see it's about me. Taking my life back. That's the first step, Lara said softly. Everything else follows. I left the cafe with a new sense of purpose. The anger was still there, simmering, but now it was directed, calculated, focused. For the first time since the betrayal, I felt like I had a team, a plan, and the chance to reclaim not just my life but my identity. I waited until the office was crowded enough for attention but quiet enough to hear whispers. Daniel slid into the cubicle next to mine. Ready? He asked, eyes gleaming. I am, I said, trying to steady my racing heart. Good. Everyone's going to see the truth today. I nodded. The plan was simple but precise. Subtle public exposure. Not reckless but impossible to ignore. Across the room, Claire laughed at something Liam said. My stomach twisted. I called a meeting under the guise of a project update. Everyone. Can we gather in the conference room? I said, my voice calm. Claire raised an eyebrow. Naomi, what is this? You'll see, I said, smiling faintly. Inside, I set the laptop on the table, sharing the screen with the team. I found some discrepancies in our reports, I said. And I think it's important everyone knows what's been going on. Liam shifted uncomfortably. Naomi, I held up a hand. Let me finish. Claire, you might want to sit down for this. Claire's face paled. I clicked through slides showing emails, manipulations, and carefully documented lies. The room grew tense. Murmurs rippled around us. Is this? One coworker asked, voice low. Yes, I said. This is exactly what's been happening. I trusted certain people. I was betrayed. Liam's face flushed. This isn't the full story. Oh, but it is, I said, heart pounding. I have everything here. Every detail. Your lies, your manipulations, all documented. Claire tried to interject. Naomi, please. No, I said firmly. No excuses. No explanations. Today, everyone knows the truth. I watched their reactions closely. Liam's jaw tightened. Claire's hands trembled. I felt a strange mix of adrenaline and satisfaction. Why didn't you say anything before? A colleague demanded. I was betrayed, I replied. And I needed to be certain before exposing the facts. I couldn't let emotion ruin clarity. Now you all see the reality. Daniel leaned over and whispered. They can't talk their way out of this. I know, I said, nodding. The murmurs turned into focused questions. How long has this been happening? Long enough, I said. But the important part is now it ends here. Accountability starts today. Claire's voice broke. I didn't mean. I know, I said softly, almost to myself. I know. But intent doesn't erase impact. Liam's confident mask had vanished. Naomi. I shook my head. No. You can't undo what's done. You can only face the consequences. Later in a quiet hallway, Daniel clapped my shoulder. That was perfect. You were calm, precise, unstoppable. I felt everything, I admitted. Adrenaline, fear, and satisfaction. I never thought exposing them could feel so right. It's just the beginning, he said. The shift in power has started. You've reclaimed part of your life. I nodded slowly. Part of me, yes. But I feel more awake now, more alive. They've underestimated me. Big mistake. I walked back to my office, heart still racing. The office buzzed with whispers, glances, and disbelief. For the first time since everything began, I wasn't the victim. I was the one in control. And this was only the first strike. I watched Liam struggle to explain himself during the staff meeting. Naomi, I can. He began, voice tight. Save it. I interrupted softly, not letting him finish. Everyone has seen the evidence. He sank into his chair, eyes flicking nervously around the room. I didn't mean for this to happen. No one asked for your intent, Liam, I said, calm but cutting. Actions matter. Words don't fix the damage. Claire sat beside him, head down, trembling. Naomi. Not now, I said firmly. I want everyone to hear me. Claire, your silence made you complicit. A few co-workers whispered. So it's true, everything Naomi said. Yes, I said. Everything. I trusted them. And they betrayed me. Not just me, but the trust of everyone they manipulated. Liam tried again. I swear I didn't. Don't swear, I said sharply. You already swore enough to break trust. You'll have to live with the consequences. Claire's eyes met mine briefly, a mixture of fear and regret. I felt a strange twist of satisfaction and guilt. I remembered our years of friendship, the laughter we shared. But I pushed it aside. This wasn't about sentiment. This was about truth. Later, I overheard Liam on a call. I don't understand why everyone is turning on me. Naomi's making it personal. A coworker's voice snapped back. Maybe it's because your personal actions affected everyone here. Face it. I leaned against the wall, silent, observing. Their downfall wasn't loud or violent. It was quiet, insidious, and far more satisfying than any public confrontation. When Claire left early, her steps heavy, I muttered under my breath. You wanted control. You lost it. At lunch, Daniel joined me. You've been watching, he said. I have, I admitted. And it's strangely fulfilling, but also sobering. Seeing them unravel. I feel alive, but not just from revenge. I'm learning patience, strategy, restraint. Exactly, he said. You're evolving. You're not the same Naomi they tried to destroy. I nodded, reflecting. It's strange. Part of me wants to push further to make sure they feel everything, but another part knows it's already working. Karma is doing its job. Let it, he said. Your role isn't to destroy. They're doing that themselves. I looked at my hands, remembering the nights of despair, the endless tears. I remember who I was, I said softly. The naive girl who trusted too easily. I'm not that person anymore. Good, Daniel said. Growth often comes with patience and observation, not just action. I smiled faintly. I suppose I'm starting to understand. Revenge isn't just punishment. It's reclaiming myself. And they're showing me exactly how strong I've become. By the end of the day, I walked past Liam's empty office, Claire's desk cleared, and felt a quiet sense of closure. I hadn't lifted a finger to push them out. They'd collapsed under the weight of their own choices. I whispered to myself, this is justice. Not perfect but real. And I'm no longer afraid of facing it, or myself. I sat alone in my apartment, the silence almost deafening. The victory at work should have felt satisfying, but instead it felt hollow. My phone buzzed. It was Hannah. Naomi, are you okay? You've been distant. I'm fine, I said, voice tight. You don't sound fine, she insisted. You've changed since everything went down. Are you sure you're happy? I hesitated. Happy isn't the word I'd use. Powerful, maybe. In control. But happiness? I'm not sure I remember what that feels like. There's a difference, she said softly. Don't lose yourself in this. Revenge isn't everything. I know, I admitted. But it's hard. Some friends, they look at me differently now. I feel isolated, even with allies like you and Daniel. You earned your justice, she said. But I get it. The cost isn't just theirs. It's ours too. Later, Ethan approached me at the cafe. Naomi. I looked up startled. Ethan. I didn't expect to see you. I heard about what happened at work. Impressive, he said, eyes steady. But I have to ask, was it worth it? I laughed bitterly. Worth it? In some ways, yes. In others, I'm not sure. There's satisfaction, but it's mixed with emptiness. He nodded, leaning closer. You've changed. I can see it. Stronger, sharper. But maybe also guarded. Guarded. I repeated. You think I need to protect myself? Maybe, he said carefully. Or maybe you're protecting something deeper, your heart, your sense of who you are. I looked away, suddenly self-conscious. I didn't realize how much I've sacrificed. Friends, trust, even innocence. I'm not the naive Naomi anymore. I'm someone else entirely. Ethan studied me. Do you regret it? I shook my head slowly. No. I'd do it again if I had to. But I wish it didn't have to cost so much. Power has a price. And sometimes it's heavier than I expected. He smiled faintly. Maybe it's not just power, it's awareness. You see things clearly now. You know what's real and what isn't. I suppose, I said, feeling a tightness in my chest. But clarity comes with loneliness. I feel like I've climbed a mountain, only to find the view is cold and empty. He reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. Then maybe it's time to build something new. Alliances, trust, even something more. I stared at him, surprised by the warmth in his tone. Something more. Yes, he said. You don't have to face everything alone. You've survived betrayal, revenge, and power. Maybe now it's about living for yourself, not just for justice. I swallowed hard, thinking about all I'd endured, the heartbreak, the plotting, the satisfaction, and realized he was right. The cost had been high, but I was still standing. Maybe you're right, I whispered. Maybe it's time to reclaim more than just my life. Time to reclaim me. He smiled, eyes gentle. Then start now. As I left the cafe, I felt the weight of victory and isolation, but also a tiny spark of hope. Power had changed me, yes, but perhaps it had also prepared me for something better. Someone worth trusting, someone worth letting in. I whispered to myself, I survived betrayal. I reclaimed my life. Now maybe I can survive this too. I stood outside the cafe where it all began, my hands gripping the strap of my bag. Liam and Claire were already inside, seated awkwardly at a corner table. Naomi, Liam said as I approached, his voice uncertain. We didn't expect you here. Didn't expect me? I repeated, sitting down opposite them. You two didn't expect anything when you betrayed me either. Claire's eyes filled with guilt. Naomi, please. I've already apologized. Apologies aren't enough, I said sharply. Not after what you did. Not after all the lies, the manipulation, the trust you shattered. I didn't think it would get this far, Liam said quietly. I thought we could fix things. Fix things. I laughed bitterly. You used me. You lied to me. And you, Claire, you watched while it happened. How could you think anything could be fixed? I panicked, Claire admitted. I didn't know how to tell you. I was scared. And fear excuses nothing, I said firmly. I trusted both of you. I shared my life, my dreams, and you betrayed me. You don't get to hide behind fear. Liam's head hung low. I realize that now. Naomi, I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt you like this. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange mix of anger and sorrow. I know you're sorry, Liam, but it doesn't change the past. It doesn't erase the pain. Claire reached out. I understand if you can't forgive me. I hope you know I regret everything. I hear you, I said, voice softening slightly. But this isn't about forgiveness right now. It's about closure. And for me, closure means I finally say what I've held in for so long. I pulled a small envelope from my bag. I wrote something, I said. Not for revenge, not for punishment. Just to let you know how your actions affected me. And to release the hold you had on me. I handed it to Claire first. She opened it, eyes scanning the words, and her lips trembled. Naomi. Sure, I said gently. Read. Understand. And then let it go. Let us all go. Liam took the letter next, silent. His hand shook as he read. I can't believe I caused this much pain, he whispered. You did, I said softly, meeting his gaze. But recognizing it now doesn't make you a monster. It makes you human. I just can't be part of your world anymore. Claire nodded, tears running down her cheeks. I understand. I'll live with this, but I'll remember it too. I rose, standing taller than I had in weeks. Goodbye, Liam. Goodbye, Claire. I hope you learn from this. I hope it changes you. Outside, the cold air hit me, refreshing and freeing. I exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of betrayal lift slightly. Daniel's voice came from behind me. You did it. You faced them. You reclaimed your peace. I did, I said, a small smile forming. But it's more than that. I reclaimed myself. And that is worth everything. As I walked away, I slipped the letters into my coat pocket. Symbols of the past, yes, but also proof of my growth. I was no longer the naive girl who had trusted blindly. I was someone stronger, wiser, unafraid to face the truth, and unafraid to move forward. I sat on the balcony, the city lights shimmering below like 1,000 tiny reminders of how far I'd come. Ethan joined me, coffee in hand. You look different, he said quietly. I feel different, I admitted. Stronger, I think. Wiser. Less afraid. You've earned that, he said, sitting beside me. After everything, it's about time you took this moment. I smiled faintly. It's strange. I spent so long thinking revenge would complete me. But now I realize it was never about them. It was about me. Daniel's voice echoed in my mind. Control the situation, Naomi. Trust yourself. You've changed, Ethan continued, watching me. And yet, I can see who you really are beneath it all. Who I am now, I said, is someone I never thought I could be. I survived betrayal. I reclaimed my life. I made mistakes, but I also learned fast, hard lessons about trust, resilience, and myself. Hannah called earlier, checking in. Naomi, are you proud of yourself? She asked. I am, I told her. But proud isn't enough. Feel complete. Not whole, not perfect, but capable. I can face life, whatever it throws at me, and I won't be broken again. Ethan laughed softly. That's inspiring. I don't want them in my world anymore, I said, thinking of Liam and Claire. Not in my life, not in my thoughts. I've released the past. Let karma be what it is. I don't need to carry hatred to be strong. Wise, Ethan said. And rare. I nodded, sipping my coffee. It's not just about surviving. It's about thriving. About knowing your worth, your power, your voice. I see it, he said. You're unforgettable, Naomi. Not because of revenge or justice, but because of who you've become. I laughed quietly, shaking my head. Unforgettable, maybe. But not in the way people expect. I'm not looking to impress or intimidate. I just exist fully. Honestly. Fearlessly. Daniel's words came back again. You trust yourself. I've learned to trust myself, I said aloud. My instincts, my choices, my boundaries. I'm not naive, not fragile, not dependent on others for validation. I create my own path. The wind carried a chill, brushing my cheeks. This is freedom, I whispered, feeling the weight of the past finally lift. Ethan smiled, silent, understanding. I didn't need to explain. The city below reflected possibilities, not shadows. I'm ready, I said to him and to myself. Ready to embrace life, not as a victim, not as someone broken, but as someone whole enough to keep growing. Someone unforgettable in my own right. He raised his cup. To you, Naomi. To your future. To the future, I echoed, smiling as I watched the lights twinkle below. And in that quiet, powerful moment, I knew. I had survived, I had risen, and I had truly become unforgettable.